Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A worker, especially in an office, hired on a temporary basis. Lacking continuity or regularity. Employed on a temporary basis. Not permanent, not lasting. Temporary housing. A worker, especially in an office, hired on a temporary basis. A worker, especially in an office, hired on a temporary basis. Independent in behavior or thought. She led a somewhat irregular private life. Not occurring at a regular rate or fixed intervals. An irregular heartbeat. Merchandise that has imperfections, usually sold at a reduced price without the brand name. Deviating from normal expectations, somewhat odd, strange, or abnormal. Highly irregular behavior. A member of an irregular armed force that fights a stronger force by sabotage and harassment. Lacking continuity or regularity. An irregular worker. Contrary to rule or accepted order or general practice. Irregular hiring practices. Failing to meet a standard of manufacture due to an imperfection. An irregular pair of jeans. Of a surface or shape, not level or flat or symmetrical. Walking was difficult on the irregular cobblestone surface. Used of the military, not belonging to or engaged in by regular army forces. Irregular troops. Of solids, not having clear dimensions that can be measured. Volume must be determined with the principle of liquid displacement. Not permanent, not lasting. Politics is an impermanent factor of life. Existing or enduring for a limited time only. Involving less than the standard or customary time for an activity. Part-time employees. For less than the standard number of hours. He works part-time. Involving less than the standard or customary time for an activity. The time between one event, process, or period and another. Serving during an intermediate interval of time. An interim agreement. Done or made using whatever is available. The survivors used jury-rigged fishing gear. Something contrived to meet an urgent need or emergency. Done or made using whatever is available. The rock served as a makeshift hammer. Lasting a very short time. A passing fancy. Hasty and without attention to detail, not thorough. A passing glance. A bodily reaction of changing from one place or stage to another. The passing of flatus. Success in satisfying a test or requirement. His future depended on his passing that test. Going by something that is moving in order to get in front of it. She drove but her reckless passing of every car on the road frightened me. Of advancing the ball by throwing it. A team with a good passing attack. To an extraordinary degree. She was a surpassingly beautiful woman. Euphemistic expressions for death. Thousands mourned his passing. The motion of one object relative to another. Stellar passings can perturb the orbits of comets. American football. A play that involves one player throwing the ball to a teammate. The coach sent in a passing play on 3rd and long. allowing you to pass, e.g., an examination or inspection, satisfactorily. A passing grade. The end of something. The passing of winter. For the time being. He is the president pro tem. For the time being, temporarily. Accepting pro tem that hypothesis consistent with the facts. For the time being. For the time being, temporarily. Casual or ephemeral as if taking place on board a ship. Shipboard romances. Lasting a very short time. The semantic role of the noun phrase that designates the time of the state or action denoted by the verb. Characteristic of or devoted to the temporal world as opposed to the spiritual world. Temporal possessions of the church. Not eternal. Temporal matters of but fleeting moment. Of this earth or world. Temporal joys. Of or relating to or limited by time. Temporal processing. Of or relating to the temples, the sides of the skull behind the orbit. Temporal bone. Capable of being terminated after a designated time. Terminable employees. Lasting a very short time. Youth's transient beauty. Of a mental act, causing effects outside the mind. One who stays for only a short time. Transient laborers. Physics. A short-lived oscillation in a system caused by a sudden change of voltage or current or load. Lasting a very short time. Love is transitory but it is eternal. Actively engaged in paid work. The working population. A mine or quarry that is being or has been worked. Of e.g. a machine, performing or capable of performing. In running, or working, order. Adequate for practical use, especially sufficient in strength or numbers to accomplish something. The party has a working majority in the House. Adopted as a temporary basis for further work. A working draft. Serving to permit or facilitate further work or activity. Discussed the working draft of a peace treaty. The performance of a part or role in a drama. Serving temporarily especially as a substitute. The acting president. Lasting a very short time. The ephemeral joys of childhood. Anything short-lived, as an insect that lives only for a day in its winged form. Occurring or appearing at usually irregular intervals. Episodic in his affections. Limited in duration to a single episode. An account concerned primarily with episodic events such as the succession of rulers. Of writing or narration. Divided into or composed of episodes. The book is episodic and the incidents don't always hang together. Tending to vanish like vapor. Evanescent beauty. A debtor who flees to avoid paying. Ephemeral. The symphony is no fly-by-night venture. Of businesses and businessmen, untrustworthy or undependable. A fly-by-night operation. Lasting a very short time. Fugacious blossoms. Done or made using whatever is available. Crossed the river on improvised bridges. Affording no ease or reassurance. suffering from severe mental illness. Subject to change, variable. Everything was unstable following the coup. Disposed to psychological variability. His rather unstable religious convictions. Highly or violently reactive. Sensitive and highly unstable compounds. Lacking stability or fixity or firmness. Unstable political conditions. A member of the working class, not necessarily employed. Workers of the world, unite. A person who acts and gets things done. He's a miracle worker. A person who works at a specific occupation. He is a good worker. Sterile member of a colony of social insects that forages for food and cares for the larva. A worker who moves around and works temporarily in different places. A vagrant. A worker who moves around and works temporarily in different places.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.